Hello there. Hi, I'm Steve, facilities engineer here at the Jim Henson Company. And you know, next to me, some of the hardest working people here at the Jim Henson Company are our interns. Now, recently we challenged 4 of our interns to come up with an idea for a short puppet video podcast thingamajig of their very own. Then they would pitch these ideas to the Jim Henson Company staff, who would decide on which one of their podcasty doodly things would be produced. Then the interns would work together to build some puppets and produce the short, and that short would be released right here on the Henson.com podcast thing. So, without any further ado, let's start the Jim Henson Company Intern Podcast Challenge Competition War. Is that right?
It's not really a war.
What is it?
Well, it's just a challenge.
Hang on, what's a podcast, first of all?
Wake up in the morning, get yourself to work. Fraggles never fool around, Fraggles never shirk. Your duty's always waiting, duty must be done. There's ping pong games that must be played and songs that must be sung.
Now first, let's meet our 4 interns and find out what they think about this opportunity to pitch their idea to the Jim Henson Company. Oh, where do you see them? They're adorable. You're gonna want to eat them up with a spoon.
I think it's a great opportunity to pitch to the Jim Henson Company, and I think we're gonna make a really fun video.
I think this is a really awesome opportunity. I think some of the other interns that I've talked to have never done anything like this before, so I feel very honored, and I think that it's amazing.
It's really fun that we're able to pitch our ideas to the Jim Henson Company, especially because I grew up watching all of the movies, and it's fun enough to be working here, but to actually be able to present one of my ideas to them is just really outstanding and so much fun.
I think this opportunity to pitch to the Jim Henson Company is very exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking. It's amazing to have people care that much about what you think.
Now, let's find out who our interns will be pitching to and what these folks specifically will be looking for in the pitches. So, batter up!
So Blanca, my idea of having the interns, provide some content for one of the podcasts, I think I'm hoping that they're ready now to show us some really good ideas. But I'm wondering from you if you feel like they've had enough experience so far in their internships to really understand what's going to make a Jim Henson Company project, because that's obviously I don't typically deal with like the content and the production piece, but it's very important to me that whatever we put up from them is going to look like something that's made from the company.
Okay, well, I think we'll have to listen to their pitches and see what they came up with. They're very excited to be doing this. I think that's the good. Most important thing. And they have been very inspired by the work that we do here and the feature films that we have in development. So I think that even though the 4 of them will bring unique ideas and unique taste to what their pitch will be, it will be definitely inspired by the work here.
Our Henson staff is ready, and so are the interns, so let's get to the peaches.
Pitches.
The what?
Pitches.
They ain't gonna be peaches?
No peaches.
I thought I was gonna get lunch for this.
Okay, it's called Nigel Heat, and it's a ridiculous romance. So Priscilla Wyndham and her father, Lord Reginald Wyndham, explorer extraordinaire, embark on a perilous journey to deepest, darkest Africa, where they meet dashing explorer Nigel Heat. Instantly taken with Priscilla, Nigel tries his best to woo her until the devastatingly handsome young officer, Bradley Lionel, joins their expedition. Will Nigel be able to win Priscilla after all?
Okay, so mine is a take on the original Pandora's Box myth. So it's about the magical kingdom of Olympus, which is about to win Utopian City of the Year for the 500th year in a row. And so naturally there's some neighboring kingdoms that are really jealous of Olympus. But most jealous of all is Verdenius, who is Hades' younger brother, and he's much less competent, and he's stuck dealing with the underworld while Hades is away. So he comes up with a master plan to prove his wickedness, and he decides to lock all the vices of the world in little boxes, and before the celebration begins in Olympus, he decides to hand them out to all the children there. And he knows that they're going to be way too curious to resist opening them, but what he doesn't know is that one of his bumbling minions accidentally locks Hope up in one of the boxes too. So he hands him out, and Olympus is suddenly bombarded with all these crazy vices that they've never had to deal with before, like jealousy and vanity. And it features a young boy, Pan, who's sort of like a little delivery boy around the city. And he is determined not to open his box because he sees all these horrible things going on. But what he doesn't know is that his box is the one with hope in it, and so he realizes that maybe he should open it, but of course there's always a chance that something bad is going to happen.
Alright, mine is called Sock It To Me. It's Lethal Weapon meets Anchorman meets Blade Runner with clothes. And it stars Sock Fester, Sock Lone, as a hard-as-nails cop looking for his missing wife, Shirley the Shoe. With the help of his partner, Rusty the Gun, he tracks down the evil lair of the villain, Scarface.
Wait, is that Scarface?
Scarface.
Whoa! Okay.
Yes, who's a scarf, surprisingly. And his lair is a shoe store in the mall. In the back warehouse, Sock does find a shoe, along with hundreds of other pairs of shoes that look just like her. And he believes this to be an underground cloning ring. So just shoes copied and being manufactured to be sold into slavery, which is a crime against humanity. And he hatches a plan to free the clones and defeat Scarface and the forces of capitalism. And so through some espionage sequences and a lot of action, he breaks all of the clones out, and it culminates in a final epic battle between Sock and Scarface, where Scarf reveals the shocking secret: they're all clones, each and every one of them mass-produced, and he shows Sock a warehouse full of socks identical to him, and in a crushing moment of humility and defeat, Sock comes to the poignant yet poetic realization they're all just cogs in the machine, tools to be used for the benefit of the American economic system, that individualism doesn't truly exist in a capitalist society, and that they're all just clothing. The end.
My story is called Starship Stowaways, and it's a futuristic sci-fi adventure. And what it's about a young girl named Connie, and she lives with her family. Her father, which is a ex-colonial marine, and he's now the sheriff of this planet that's in the far reaches of known, human space. Her mother is a research scientist, and her younger brother is just a younger brother. And she grows up, and she's 16 years old. She doesn't really relate to her family, and she daydreams all the time of being away from this, newly developed, newly colonized planet. They see, ships of an unknown origin, which are bombarding the colony, and everybody's trying to evacuate. So the father takes the kids to an evacuation area, and it's so cluttered with humans and people trying to evacuate. He's trying to look for a place. So in the distance, he sees his friend, and the friend calls out to him to come. So as him and his wife are coming up the stairways to the rocket ship, an explosion happens nearby, which forces them to be knocked into a escape pod, and they automatically leave, leaving their kids behind. So they have their 16-year-old daughter, Connie, and their 11-year-old son, Andy. They both put their spacesuits on, and they eject out of the pod, and they go into outer space, and they go to a hatchet unnoticed. And he hacks the entry access, and they enter without being known. So then they go into this cargo ship, and luckily enough, they were transporting all these foods and supplies, and so they just wait there until they're ready to dock. So if they dock, they hear the pirates coming to move the cargo, so they hide into a crate. And they wait in the crate until they're loaded out of the ship, until everybody's kind of gone and they don't hear any voices anymore. So once they exit and everything's safe, they get out and they start trying to look for their parents. But what happens when they look for their parents, they notice that they're on an alien planet. Like, this is like a hub of aliens. So they're like looking around, there's all kinds of aliens and creatures and stuff they've never seen before, they've never known. And these pirates have been able to communicate with these other aliens, but to the other part of the human race, this doesn't exist. So now they're in space, like in this crazy area where they don't know how to get back, they don't know how to communicate, they don't have any money. So now these two kids that don't really get along, they have to rely on each other and put their efforts together, and they have to start stowing away on different ships to try to find their way home to see how to get back to their parents.
And now, the moment of truth. Let's check in with Nicole and Blanca as they make their decision.
I want to give them a chance to meet with people in the workshop and sort of hear about the way that they can learn how to execute and then actually shoot the thing. I think we should probably go with BECKY'S because we'll be able to build it, or you think we can build it, which is really good.
So. And the thing that I really like and that I feel excited about choosing Becky is that her project is the one project that can incorporate the talent of the other three.
There you have it. The decision has been made. And the winner is Becky's project, Pan. Now it's time for the interns to build the puppets they'll be using for their shoot. But you're gonna have to wait for our next podcast to see that. My name is Steve, and thank you for tuning in, or dialing it up, or downloading it, or whatever it is you do with these things. We'll see you next time. I gotta get back to work. Hex nuts, drywall screws, mallet bolts,